let's quickly flick.
Speaking of coaching.
Yeah.
Ross, a few weeks ago, was mentioned, I think Sam McClure said he felt Ross was the favourite to take on the Carlton job. Should there be a change at the top there? And this caught my eye, or my ear, in fact, on 3AW this morning.
Ross Lyon to Carlton, it's getting stronger.
Well, there's a very strong talk that Ross Lyon will be the next coach of Carlton.
You and I have both had separate conversations with people who we think would know. It's particularly strong.
And of course, we've got Matthew Pavlich on that review panel. We've got Luke Ball, another old friend, on the Collingwood coaching review panel, which is a different panel. That's to select the coach. You said you'd take a call from Collingwood. We read today in the Age...
Hang on. I said out of respect, if an AFL club talks to you, you listen. So it's a big difference.
You might be a bit stiff if two of your old players are actually picking.
I'm no chance, to be honest. So, can I just put a full stop on this?
Has Collingwood called
I'm going to put a full stop on this. I can categorically say I have had no contact from anyone at the Carlton Football Club or the Collingwood Football Club. That is fake news, and I haven't reached out to anybody. So at some point, can we all just move? And it's incredibly disrespectful. There's a review going on. No one understands the stress of the job. David Teague and his family, and they had a win last week. I just think it's cheap. I don't like it. And he thinks they would know. You know what? Apply some rigour and make sure they know.
I think that's a fairly solid answer. It was also reported in the Age today that Brad Scott has entered the frame. We do know that Collingwood was looking for a coach, and we now know that Brad Scott and Sam Mitchell are two names. Brad, obviously very well regarded at Collingwood, Ed. And I'm also hearing that certainly Don Pike has not ruled himself out of having a crack at coaching again as well.
It's interesting with Brad Scott because he looked like he'd ruled himself out after North Melbourne. He's had a bit of time and a career change. They're very well respected at the AFL. Totally respected at the Collingwood Football Club. In fact, at the time when we were looking and thinking about a secession plan, he was very much in our forefront of our thinking. Him and Nathan Buckley, obviously, and in fact James Hird at that particular time. So all that stuff about it was a handover to Bucks. That wasn't the situation. Also, Brad was somebody there that we thought would work really well with Mick Malthouse in that situation. He took the job at North Melbourne the year before.
But
so he's well respected.
Would he be prepared, Ed, to put up with the lifestyle of coaching? We know that he was happy to get out of it for a while, and, you know, family concerns, wanted to spend more time at home. We spoke to his brother Chris earlier this year on Footy Classified, and this is what he thought of Brad's coaching ambitions or prospects.
I think he could. I'm not sure he wants to. I think he's enjoying his life at the moment.
Would you like to see him do it?
No.
No. Why?
I wouldn't. Because it's not a very good job, to be honest.
Why do you say that?
It's a big statement.
Yeah, no, it's just hard work.
What's your concerns most?
No, it's just a stressful existence. And not many coaches coach for 10 years. He coached for 10 years, you know, a couple of prelim finals with that list, I think was a pretty successful outcome. And I think there's a cost to that position.
Do you think Brad has a better existence now than you do?
Yeah.
In terms of your professional...
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, except, and okay, I'm parochial, but I know this club inside out. The Collingwood coaching job doesn't just turn up. I reckon if Brad was offered that job or was in position for it, he'd have a really long, hard think about it. It's one thing being at some clubs, it's another thing getting the opportunity to coach.
No, but you're
Collingwood.
biased, Ed, right?
No,
but objectively, let me say this. Yeah. They've set an incredibly high bar for anybody. Nathan Buckley, prelim, grand final... They've virtually said, and I hear the rebuild, but I don't think that's reality once you get the job. I think it seems it was almost a political decision to Buckley go, so they've lost Buckley the last year. I'm not sure they're that settled, and anything less than a premiership in a short period of time, I'm not convinced.
So you'd have concerns for being the Collingwood coach based on what?
Based on what happened to Nathan Buckley and my view of his performance and what he went through this year, the club went through, and he bore the brunt, and the players they lost and the injuries and the 7 debutants and his competitiveness. And for him to be considered not to be the one to take them forward, I'm not sure that they got real clarity on what that role needs.
So you're saying it's a bit of a cautionary tale going to Collingwood?
I would say, look, they're an incredibly big club, but do you sit here and think they're a settled club at the minute?
No, absolutely not. Well, we know they're not because there's a board challenge
and
going
on Brad Scott, he's got to want to... I don't think the job would be handed to him. You've got to want to
fight. You have to, and that's what we'll have
Well,
to
this
find
should be
out.
a
If I was
process.
looking
Yeah.
at if I was looking at the names that I've read so far, I would say Brad Scott. But I'm not sure Brad Scott would want to sacrifice what he sacrificed last time, and it would be a big sacrifice to go back to coaching. And we heard what his brother said, and you'd think he knows him pretty well.
30% less support than the past.
Unless you've got an inner drive to want to do something great, you're going to
Of
have
course.
a $15 million redevelopment coming.
Oh,
You've
that's
got the football club
Righto.
down there.
And we saw
Seriously,
his brother fist pumping only 2 weeks ago, so there's
of course
some nice
it is.
elements. of the
Yeah, I
job
know.
as well.
Oh, of
It is
course there
stressful
are.
and all the rest of it.
He'd be fabulous.
Jeez, anyone in football got the opportunity to take over one of the biggest clubs in the land. If you've got any competitive juices in you, you'd fair to come run down there to sign the contract. We'll take